Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, joined by my partner here, Mr. Mike Lubitz. Young Luca Panici Lubitz seems to be well under control today. So that's how we're starting out, man. We want to get off to a fast start. And always good to be with you on these Wednesdays. We go old school on Wednesdays with the great Tony Segreto. Tony Segreto will be joining us a bit later on, about 8:30 or so. And brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. We always enjoy, and it'll be fun to dissect this college football game. How much of a postscript can we do in this thing?
Oh, God. I think we did a good job yesterday.
Is it tantamount to doing an autopsy if we're still talking about it? I mean, we have to let Tony comment on his beloved Miami Hurricanes.
Ed as well. Ed does a lot of stuff with the Canes, and he's a big college football guy. He knows Indiana well, Big Ten guy, so... Yeah,
did he feed him the pregame meal? I don't know, the Texas Roadhouse people. That would have been appropriate. They did look strong. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They were strong. They just weren't quite good enough to pull this off because of what I think two bizarre happenings. I mean, you doink one off the goal post at the end of the half, within inches of having yourself in a 10-3 ball game after, I thought the first half, Indiana outplayed Miami by a significant margin. Second half, of course, you would have to look at the scoreboard and say that was all Miami coming through. As you saw Indiana starting to fade a little bit. You hit it on the head yesterday, and maybe this is all part of it. Being a boxing guy, I always used to be leery of the stamina fighters. There was a guy a long time ago, bantamweight division, that I was pretty familiar with because I was covering a couple of guys out of Pomona, California, that fought in high contention for world championship status out of Pomona, which was the neighboring town. Alberto Superfly Sandoval, whose brother actually, Richie Sandoval, became a world champion, although Alberto Sandoval never quite got there. And my main man, Albert Davila, who did win the WBC Bantamweight Championship at one point after 3 tries. Great sports story, one of my favorites of all time, and still a good friend after, almost 40 years since his retirement. Still recounts some of those battles. Fought on the undercard of the Ali Spinks fight in the Superdome in New Orleans. A few people would remember a bitter, hard pill to swallow loss to Jorge Lujan, who was a bantamweight champion. But I mean, it was always interesting to see the guys that had stamina. One of the guys that really reflected that. The Mexican fighters, of course, who would take 6 rounds to get started, Lubie, in a lot of cases. You could see where they'd be taking punches, getting outboxed, and the fact that they were still standing there made a big difference. And eventually, it just was enough as they were coming on in the late rounds. It was enough to render the superior boxer, the guy with more skills, or so it seemed, as all of a sudden a little bit of a sitting duck target. And they would come on and win the late rounds and ultimately win the decision. And that's kind of what happened in this Hurricane game. It looked like Indiana was wearing down fairly significantly. That last drive, I don't know, I mean, before the interception, if you would continue to just kind of chunk your way. I know the time was a factor, but it seemed like they were getting 10 yards every time they put the ball up because, as Lubie pointed out yesterday, there were a lot of missed tackles by Indiana all of a sudden taking place, a team that was devastating early on defense. They did sniff out that one play. I mean, I don't know why Mario Cristobal, you think that was part of his strategy? Was that brilliant, or are we about to criticize something here that made perfect sense? That the ramming of the football up the middle consistently throughout the ballgame, was that necessary as part of the wear down of Indiana and they just ran out of time? What do you think, Libby?
I mean, that's
if the game goes another 10 minutes, do the Canes win?
I don't know. I mean, Indiana was moving the ball pretty well themselves.
All right.
It was a back and forth affair in the second half. I mean, yes, Miami drove down and got 2 touchdowns. It's not like Indiana struggled to drive the ball. They were struggling a little bit to finish drives, but I mean, they were there, had a 4th and 5 within the red zone. They just decided to be smart and kick a field goal. They could have got a touchdown there too. It felt like back and forth. The running inside was their game. It just, like we said, wasn't going to work against Indiana. Now they did pop the one run, but for the most part, Indiana, like we thought, controlled their ground. Indiana had the second best rush defense in the country. Like there was a reason. Like I thought it was weird that they kept getting away with running draws, like versus the caliber team they were playing. And I figured at some point that would run out, but that was their offense. It's throwing it to Tony, hoping he breaks 12 tackles and running a draw. Like that's my problem with that's why I thought Indiana would win going away, because
well, it wasn't a lot of variety, like you said.
I don't trust their offense. Like early on, yes, early in the season, you saw Beck throwing it down the field and Daniels you weren't seeing that as the season went on. Like as the season went on, especially the playoffs, it was about ground and pound, and hopefully we get away with a big play here and there. Like that's what
Did they use Mike McDaniel?
I don't know. I don't know. It was very boring. Their offensive worked. I mean, they drove down the field 2 times in a row and got touchdowns. But it was, it wasn't drive. The one time was popping a touchdown, then the other time. But they got touchdowns, back-to-back drives, and they looked in control offensively in a way that they hadn't most of the game. But yeah, it was on the ground. I mean, it's trying to run the draw, and then okay, let's see what Tony can do. That's what it felt like their offense became by the fourth quarter.
Yeah, somewhat unimaginative. I'm with you. I'm watching a tennis match. It's hard not to like this player, a young girl, and she's been around actually for a girl who's only 18, young woman who's 18. She's already been on the scene for a couple of years, like 3-4 years. Mira Andreeva, have you seen this young lady?
I've heard of her.
She's a lot of fun. She now is all over social media because in kind of a goofball fashion. And just kidding, she seems to have a great sense of humor about what she's doing for a woman who's achieved worldwide recognition and is flying around the world on private jets and playing tennis and ranked in I think she might be as high as number 5 in the world. It's possible. But I'm watching her game, and while the top players, look, Arina Sabalenka is all power. Unbelievable the way she blasts the ball. She hits her forehand harder than some men do, and had service problems with double faults, but seems to have corrected that. Doesn't have the whoops anymore when it comes to that. And she's easily defined in terms of her style because she's going to knock the crap out of the ball. Andreeva, who can hit the ball hard at the same time, puts a lot of versatility into her game. All kinds of a big variety of shots. And I'm thinking, is that not the way to separate yourself a little bit? If there was a little more variety in that Hurricane offense, Lubie, I think you've hit on something here. Would they not have been, maybe they're not capable of doing that? Is that a possibility that you looked at Carson Beck and said he's just not one of these guys that you're going to be able to run a lot of finesse plays with or mix it up? But it did seem like it was somewhat pedestrian. Run the ball up the middle and get stuffed. Or with all day to pass, Carson Beck would eventually find somebody. And as you said, you're predicating a lot of your chances of winning the game on one or two guys' ability to break 10 tackles. And I don't know that that's necessarily a championship formula, but it did get them to the promised land. I mean, they're in there with a shot to win it all, Lubie.
What do you mean if Beck, and again, people aren't wrong, Beck just threw to the guy that was double covered. I don't agree with anyone that's like, well, if you just threw a little lift, the two guys are running with him. And
that ball might have got picked off by the safety.
Their secondary all night was making play. Like their secondary is ridiculous. So I think that they knew what they were doing. They were baiting him to make the throw, and they got the interception. I don't think that throw was getting completed. But
I mean, and he launched it a little further down the field. Would he put it in a better position so his guy had
it intercepted? I didn't like the decision, but what people are saying, and I was staring at what was happening, not what didn't happen. Was Tony was running wide open underneath. And he probably was. He probably was running wide because if those two safeties coming over the top to stop the big play, then Tony's going to be able. So at least you can get a first down. Remember, they only had 40 seconds and no timeouts, but they're at the 40. And every first down stops the clock. So you're close enough to get to the down in a way to then snap before the clock really starts running. So if Tony's open underneath, he's going to get a first down. Clock stops, and then there was supposedly someone else who was open. So he locked in on the long pass, and
he thought he had one-on-one coverage, I think,
and he did. Yeah, he didn't see the safety.
And essentially, that's what it amounted to because the ball was picked off before the safety was going to get in there and cover that spot. But if you watch the replay, which they analyzed from every different angle, the safety looks like he's going to be in the middle of the field, and then he drops over to the side where it appeared they had one-on-one coverage.
Yeah.
And he was closing on the ball. I don't know what would happen. We'll never know. But interesting. I still have the hangover. I was thinking about all the different experiences I had with the Hurricane football team, which were much more directly involved going back, say, is it that long ago? Like 20, 25 years ago? when the big run ended, unfortunately. The 2 decades of dominance that the Hurricanes had. I remember putting together some kind of video. I had to write the script for a video called "Decade of Dominance," and it's amazing what transpired. My first experience here, of course, one of my first experiences. First thing I ever covered, Lubie, was I had to go out to Dolphins training camp. I got the job at 940 Wins, my first job here, doing afternoon sports updates sometime in the summer. And it was 19, I guess, summer of 1981. And so my first experience was going out to St. Thomas University. We've talked about this with Tony. St. Thomas University, where the Dolphins practiced. And I really did. I thought I was lost. I couldn't believe that a professional team was playing in this rhymes with zit hole of a facility. It wasn't as if teams, this was before it was popular for teams to build elaborate facilities both on the pro and the college level. So you had other teams, the Rams, who I had covered before that, practiced at some local college somewhere in Orange County, I believe. And I come here and I thought I was lost. I'm thinking there's no way that the Dolphins practice at this place. And sure enough, there he was, Don Shula, with the chin out and everything, telling everybody, okay, let's go, 12-minute run. And the linemen were all puking. But the next thing I got into was, as the football season came around, was covering the Canes with Howard Schnellenberger. And there weren't that many people covering the Canes at that time. Of course, 82, they made some progress and showed some signs of life. And then 83 was when they won the national championship. And that was as magical a year as you could possibly have. I still remember standing on the sidelines there as it looked like they were about to lose to East Carolina, the pesky Pirates of East Carolina, who hadn't quite established themselves as being the pesky Pirates at that time. And I think they had the Canes down like 12-7 with a few minutes to go. My memory may be completely foggy on this, but and I remember going down to the sidelines, which we used to do about 5 minutes before the end of the game. And I was fairly near the proximity. I imagine with the security today, you'd never be able to do this. I think I was like standing next to Schnellenberger as Beverly was sending in the plays. And the Canes got a late touchdown to win that ball game. And that preserved their chances of, I don't even know if we were thinking about national championship at that point, because there were just too many teams that you would have to overcome in the rankings, except for the bizarre way that things shook out on that final day of the season, the 1984 Orange Bowl day, where on January 1st you had Auburn get involved in a tie, and then the Canes beating what was supposed to be. Have people forgotten about that Nebraska team and some of the Hurricane teams that played? I am very reluctant to deem Indiana as the greatest college football team of all time. I didn't see that. Did you?
They're not top 20. Ken brought this up last week, and because I had started, I guess he had seen it for a couple weeks. I hadn't. I had started to see it last week, like the beginning of the week. This stuff pop up, and I just went right through it because I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They're a really great story. And the same the age thing. They're old. They're 23-year-olds. We've seen 21 and 20. I mean, whatever. I don't care. They're 3 stars that are 23. Most teams would take a 4 or 5 star that are 22. You know, like we've seen older teams. But remember, back in the day, if you left as a junior, you were leaving early. So most teams in the 80s and 90s were there through their senior year. How old are you as a senior? 22, maybe 23. So again, this whole 23, 24 thing, I don't care. Like that's a weird thing to me. Yes, they're older. Yes, they're mature. Yes, they have an advantage. Okay, so other teams can do it. If no other teams aren't doing it, that's on them.
All these players were eligible, and
this wasn't playing moves. This wasn't what the Canes are trying to do to Duke right now, which is 100% civilly illegal. Like a dude's under contract, and they're trying to take him. Like what? He's under contract. That's illegal. That's wrong. What Indiana did isn't. What Indiana did was not even a loophole. It's these guys are legal. They're not as good, but they're veteran. Signetti took a chance on them, was able to coach them up, and they played well together. I don't care about that thing. It's not even that, because the great teams in history would annihilate that. They don't care about that. They're all veteran. To me, it's a great story. They came together. I think their defense is fantastic. I think their offense is very interesting. They have one NFL player. The Pons kid's legit. Their secondary is legit. Those receivers look like NFL players. They have one first-round pick. I mean, it's not even just that Canes 2001. There are so many teams because I started reeling it off. I don't know if I'm in the top 20. Like, there's so many. I mean,
I don't even know that. I mean, we probably were too lazy to do it, but do you really have to research that? I would never think that
I'm
this
off the top of my
particular
head.
Indiana team was the greatest college
No,
football team.
I can name again the 2019 team better, 2013 FSU team
No
better.
denigration. It's not. I'm not bitter.
No. The 2010s Bama teams. That LSU had some teams in there. You talk about the
Some
FSU
Miami teams
from 99, Miami 2001, Miami the late 80s, FSU 93. Again, FSU 99, the Nebraska teams in the mid 90s, the Penn State teams in the 80s. Some of the Ohio State teams with Urban Meyer, the Ohio State team that won last year was I think would have been just as good, if not better. There's a ton of teams. Again, they didn't win, so you want to put Indiana. There's some teams I put them ahead of. USC, the early 2000s. That Texas
Florida State has had better teams in this Indiana.
Well, I said I just named two. Yeah. I just named 3 FSU teams. Right. Miami, again, the 2001, 2002 team. Like, they didn't win, but I think they beat this. Like, you say, okay, if you want to say they had to win a title to be in that, fine. I still would put like 20 teams again. There's some of the Clemson teams that were unbelievable. The Oklahoma teams in the 80s with Switzer, like
USC back in the day.
Again, you want to go USC in the 70s, 80s. Like, I'm not even trying to be. That's why I don't like that they're doing it, because I think it does what you and I now do. Well, you're now going to sort of discredit them for better teams. Just why can't it's like the LeBron Jordan thing? Now you're discrediting LeBron. Like, to me, you want to later on look back, fine. But right now, I would just give them credit for being a really cool story and the best team this year. They were the best team this year. Legendary-wise, they're not even in my top 20. There's so many teams that I think would beat. I don't think they beat the crap out of them because they play smart. They play sound. They're disciplined. They're well-coached. But they don't have the talent that any of these teams have, and they did all those things. Like,
they don't overwhelm you the way some of these teams did. In terms of you just look in awe and say, "My God, what can't they do?" And they nearly lost this game. So and they nearly lost to Penn State earlier in the season, and they nearly lost to Ohio State. Yes. This is a team that could have just as easily lost 3 ball games as gone 16-0. But I think it's a bit much to look. I like Fernando Mendoza. What I see from him, all glory to God aside. Not sure that God had that much of an interest in the ball game, but look, however this kid lives his life, he seems to do all the right things, say all the right things. A hard guy. He almost seems like he's generated by artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
To take the beating that he did and the demeanor that he did after the ball game, you got to love it, especially when, as we said, from an officiating standpoint, I'm not sure. I mean, the World Boxing Council wouldn't have approved these officials. They did look like they came out of the WWE. I really was. I was waiting for somebody to scream, "McMahon!" How long are you going to let this go on? All right. So anyway, we'll get into that with Tony and Ed Garcia a little bit later on. We'll get their reflections on it. In fact, that's right around the corner. A few things happening that I was taking a look at, Lubie. And this is weird, too, because it was a football dominant period of time that were just coming off, and we had a team in a national championship game, and they made a nice, almost Cinderella-esque run. There was all the controversy about whether they were getting in, they weren't in their conference championship game, whether or not it was going to be Notre Dame, Miami, who was going to get hosed, when Alabama got the obligatory nod to get into the college football playoffs, in spite of losing 3 games. I mean, a team that was 9-4 during the regular season and postseason. Were they 10-4? I guess they won a game, Alabama. And how quickly opinion changes, Lubie, now that we're in this extreme era of thinking where there is no middle ground. Alabama wins their opening college football playoff game, and everybody, hey, you see, it was more than justified. Then they get shellacked in their next game by Indiana. It's like, what? They didn't belong there in the first place. So that's the way people are thinking right now. Yeah, I mean, it was a great story all the way around and a lot of fun. But we've been ignoring some of the other stuff that's been going on.
Yeah.
This struck me today. Have the Heat sort of morphed into being semi-irrelevant?
Yes.
Wow.
And every time they have a chance to do anything that makes them relevant, they keep waiting for this mythical future that's not coming. And it's really getting
annoying. Where is it? What's going on here? I mean,
it's really getting annoying that they keep doing this. Like they find a way to get a guy in Powell. They find a way to actually be Heroes hurt like the whole year, but they're like a top 6, 7 seed the whole year. They flirt with the top 3 at times. They've actually had a surprising season for what we thought going in before they got Powell. They get Powell, and they've actually been interesting. And when you look at the East is wide open. The East is a lot of man. Yeah. So it's like, okay, cool. Ja Morant becomes very much available for nothing. You don't have to give all these packages. You don't have to give a bunch of stuff. You could give a young player, and they have a lot of them, a first-round pick, which they never care about first-round picks, and get Ja Morant. I get he's a head case. I get he has issues. He also just scored 40 the other day. Yes. So, and then the game after that, he had like a triple-double with 27 and was leading his team to like the guy's a head case. Miami's not the greatest town, but this franchise is known to rehabilitate players. Spo is literally a dude that's known to be able to get the best out. Jimmy Butler, whatever you want to say on the way out, that was the best he played his entire career. He went from being a third guy to a number 1 on a team that went to multiple finals. And
what's amazing about Butler? He was the epitome of Heat culture. Like, he came here supposedly because he was immersed and entrenched in Heat culture. Yeah. And then he was the absolute destroyer of Heat culture on his way out. And I'm trying to figure out, where does Ja Morant, as you said, a known head case. I mean, just the guy, the talent is obvious. He's yelling at his teammates. He's doing a thing with the gun gestures, all of this other stuff. Got in jackpots with the law. And all that being said, it would be an open defiance to anything that you thought was coming philosophically out of Pat Riley and the Heat front office to bring a guy like that in. And yet he did it with Jimmy Butler, who was supposed to be a head case. At that time, though, Butler was espousing everything that came right out of the Heat book of how to.
Yeah, 100%. And that's my thing, is like, if you believe it, and we look, there's cracks in the culture. People wonder, is it not a thing? Fine. But if you believe in it, isn't Morant the perfect thing, right? Because you could keep Powell, you have Bam, whether or not Hero goes in, they might not even want Hero. So you keep Hero with, like, you have as much talent as any team in the East.
What are you giving up to get him, though? I think the Heat's next draft pick is in 2037.
No, they have a bunch of their picks. And they also, they haven't put picks in for a while. Remember, they keep missing out on these trades. And the Powell trade didn't even have a lot of picks. Like, they have some picks, and they have young guys. Hakachonis guy, the Ware, like, and again, these are interesting young guys, but they're not doing anything right now.
How about they give up Simone Fontecchio, who had
Fontecchio is another kid that people actually like because he plays decent defense, and he can shoot the 3. So it's like, to me, go make that move. Who knows if it works or not? But this was a move they used to make.
It makes it exciting too.
It makes you really interesting.
Would you pay money? I mean, you're not inclined to go down there now, Lubie, but would you bring young Luka and Shirley down to a Heat game if you could see Ja Morant?
Yes, Morant with Bam, with Powell, and if you get to keep Hero too. Like, that team, talent-wise, is the best in the East. Like, talent-wise. I don't know what it turns out to be. The Celtics, Tatum is supposedly rushing to come back. I don't know. But if you look at them talent-wise, the way Powell's an all-star this year. Bam has finally woken up the last week or so.
Like, great again last night.
Hero's an all-star caliber player. And Ja Morant, when he's healthy and in the right brain, is a top 15 player. Like, if you have a chance to do that, why for Hakachonis? Like, they're holding on to Hakachonis. Like, I don't know what this kid is. Like, it's just annoying because the Giannis thing keeps floating out. Giannis isn't going anywhere. Where's Giannis going? If Giannis was going somewhere, when he gone? The Bucks have been this for like 3 years now. Giannis isn't going anywhere.
And they may as well dig up Wilt Chamberlain.
Yes, it's just Giannis stuff. And you remember me? 4 years ago, I was the king of we were on the radio and I was talking about Giannis.
Yes.
Even I've gotten over it. It's like the Tua stuff. At some point,
it's not like there are no other teams that would want the guy.
Yes, everyone wants him. Like, so it's like, to me, if you have a chance to go get a guy, so now, like, it was about, we were going to have Scoop on last week in the middle of all of it because I thought the trade was happening. Like, everyone was sitting out. It felt like it was happening. And then now it's like, well, they don't really want him. And they're hoping for 2028. It's like, what? Free agency is not even a thing anymore. Like, players get so much money staying with their team and then orchestrating trades that they stay and ask for a trade. They don't go to free. Like, how do we all know this? And and I'm not even bashing the front office. I think they're fine, but it's like,
they're snookered though. That's been a problem. They've sort of been snookered for years now, and they haven't been able to find that breakthrough path to get out of it. They do make some smart moves. They do make some draft picks that you look at and you go, okay, that was pretty smart, but not enough. Somewhat irrelevant. They win last night. I was thinking about it. They win 130-117 at Sacramento. They've won 3 of their last 5. They make 50% of their 3-point chucks in a ball game, 21 of 42. This Simone Fontecchio goes 5 of 5 from 3-point range. They score 45 points in the second quarter, 9 of them coming on 3-pointers to move to 23 and 21, and nobody gives a flying one.
No.
That's and this is a team that you want to like because you like the way they've approached things over the years. They've never, tried to sucker punch you by saying, "Okay, we're going to be great this year," and knowing full well that they really didn't have a chance in hell. They've made bold moves in the past there, as evidenced by any number of deals. Shaq acquisition being one. Of course, Alonzo Mourning. Who can forget about the whole thing with LeBron there when we were down at the arena doing a 9-hour broadcast going, I think they're coming out soon. I see Eric Reed. He's putting some makeup on. Like, what the hell is going on here, man? Remember that? That was weird. Wait, were you working that broadcast with me?
Yes. What do you mean? We hadn't even
started
at
the studio. Or did you come down to the arena?
I had to be it was annoying. It was already I had to be at the studio, and it was you with Mike Inglis and I think Karate.
And they were great guys.
They were fun, and it was a fun podcast, but it was the stupidest thing to put on the radio.
Oh my God! I mean, English is great. He could talk all day, and I really admire John Crady's work. And the times that we've had him on programs, John Crady, and I wouldn't mind trying to get him on one of our few. We can try and get him on next week.
We've had him on before. We've had him on. He's good.
Figure out what the hell is going on with this Heat team. And what needs to happen for them to become relevant again? We know what happened with the Panthers. They were afflicted with injuries after a tremendous run. If they did nothing for the next 5 years, they put themselves on the map. But it's not necessarily good enough in this town, Lubie.
No.
What do you have to do? And is Jeff Hafley capable of bringing that about for the Miami Dolphins? A lot of stuff happening here. Hall of Fame yesterday. Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones gets in.
Yeah, so Beltran gets in?
Yeah.
Wasn't he mixed up on all the Houston stuff?
He was beating the drums like he was Tito Puente Jr., man. He was hitting those garbage cans.
Baseball, I will let him on because he played professional baseball.
What are the standards?
How did baseball do? Okay, so the steroid cheating's bad, but actual cheating is okay.
I don't know. What would you feel was more egregious, more outrageous? Stealing signs, to me, I don't know. I mean, they were using electronic devices, and they were exceeding, obviously. If you're just stealing the signs like Joe Garagiola used to always refer to, the signs. That's all he ever talked about was the freaking signs. Okay, Joe, enough about the signs. We know you were a catcher, but did you get hit in the head with a knuckleball or something? What the hell happened? And I like Garagiola as a commentator because he was a little offbeat. But he was always talking about, they got a guy on second now. They're going to be trying to steal the signs. So that's been going on as we bring in Mr. Old School himself.
Well, Tony played professional baseball. Tony played baseball his whole life. So he gives an interesting perspective.
And I always thought he was a catcher, but he was a sleek, Tony Lazzari type.
I would think second or short. That's Tony feels like to me.
What were you playing? Shortstop? I see you as a second baseman, Tony.
I was a second baseman.
Okay.
And so steroids just so bad, and sign stealing's okay. It's a part because people gave the Houston Astros a lot of crap. Like this day, Yankee fans are like, well, they took our title. I'm like, I don't know if it was that definitive.
What was that, Tony?
I just don't understand.
Stealing has been around since Ty Cobb.
But rigging the stadium so you're getting like, I mean, they're not even stealing. It's one thing if I recognize, hey, the minute this guy looks to his left, he's going to first.
That's one thing. But then stealing the signs,
from the dugout, and then you're doing a thing with a walkie-talkie, and then you're looking into the sky, and the
Altuve's wearing a wire as he crosses home plate. Most of these guys going on their knees, and they go to touch his shirt. He goes, "No, don't touch me!" Right? I mean, there was so much. Fortunately, if you've ever experienced something like that, you're like, is there something wrong with you? When it's 1,000 degrees outside, and the guy says, "I think I'll leave my shirt on when I go in the water." Wearing a wire, no? This was forgotten, I guess. I don't know. Was it enough for you to? I'm looking at the numbers here, Tony. Though your standards for a Hall of Famer. I mean, I'm too hung up on this batting average thing, I guess.
Yeah, but what's his home?
So am I.
Beltran hits 279 lifetime. He hits 435 home runs.
It's not a Hall of Fame.
Knocks in a Tony Perez 1,587 runs. So
I don't get it.
Good power numbers. A 280 hitter with power.
Hall of Fame.
And in that era of steroids where numbers are inflated, his numbers wouldn't have made it in the 80s or 90s. I don't.
And Andrew Jones was a lifetime 250 hitter.
Jones is weird because Jones was an elite defensive player,
great player,
and a really good offensive player. So I actually don't want Andrew Jones is the kind of guy that in the 80s and 90s would have gotten in, that they've been holding out because of you have to hit 800 home runs. And so Andrew Jones, I actually don't mind. And he never was really caught up in steroid rumors. He won a lot of games and was a big part of a lot of winning. Like all the things that would get a guy in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Carlos Beltran's weird because he was a really good player. He won a lot, but his stats are almost in the middle when it comes to Hall of Fame. And then the cheating's there. Like, I don't get the Beltran.
Hey, let me ask you something, Defo. Do you recall is Nellie Fox?
Nellie Fox, yeah. I had a Nellie Fox bat. Everybody loved Nellie Fox because he had the thickest bat handle maybe in the history of any level of baseball.
Did he get in the Hall of Fame or no?
Nellie Fox? That's a good question. Wow. I would tend to say yes, but I could be wrong about that. Nellie Fox. I always liked Nellie Fox. Didn't he have a big chaw of tobacco also when he was up at the plate?
Yes,
he had a weird batting stance. But I remember having a Nellie Fox bat because
me too. I had a Nellie Fox.
And I hated him. He is all
he was a 15-time All-Star. I mean, if you're a 15 in that era, I mean,
he was steady as a rock, and guys stayed with one team for long periods of time, so it was a different thing. I'm thinking these are sort of like very borderline numbers. I guess that's why, in addition to Lubie alluding to the cheating scandal there with the Astros, 279. I mean, what's the benchmark? If you have over 400 home runs, are you getting into the Hall of Fame, Tony Segreto? They both had over 400. They all similar numbers: 435, 434 for Andrew Jones, 435 for Beltran. And they were the only two that got in. And if you're looking at the juicers and the attitude towards the juicers, Andy Pettit, an admitted juicer, who claims he only did it once, he never inhaled, and he at least admitted to it, which is all anybody wanted from Pete Rose all those years.
Yes.
Pete would have got into the Hall of Fame. He said, "You know what? I regret this. I'll regret this to my grave. I was betting. I couldn't help myself. I had a sick addiction, and I was betting on baseball, but I never bet that Pedro Bourbon would come in the 10th inning of the game after pitching 6 straight nights and give up 6 runs so we would lose." The guys are in control of a team when the coach is betting on the games. I don't know, Tony. I know you like gambling, but maybe its influence has finally exceeded the boundaries of
maybe
not impacting integrity of the game, so to speak. All right, we're going to come back with Tony, and we'll also have Ed Garcia. A lot of stuff to talk about here on the program the rest of the way. We'll get Tony's reaction to the game. We kind of spent a lot of time dissecting a game that's 2 days old already, but it's interesting from a lot of different perspectives. We have a new head coach with the Miami Dolphins. We'll get into that.
That was
Tony Segreto.
That right there.
Yeah,
you could spend 5 hours telling me why he's the best pick.
Lubie says everyone around the league loves.
Please tell me why he's the best pick.
It's so weird what's happening because down here we're not happy because we had designs on Harbaugh, then I guess Stefanski and people with the Shula lingering. So down here we're not happy, but everyone around the league thinks it's an amazing hire. It's the first time in a long time that Dolphins have gotten credit for a hire. Like, remember, McDaniel was like, a lot of people like me were excited, but people were like, oh, this guy was a run game coordinator. He was offensive coordinator for a week under an offensive head coach. We don't really know what he is. He's 15. Like, no one really knew what McDaniel was. People are really giving the Dolphins a lot of credit, and down here we are not happy at all. It's like the weirdest dichotomy because people who know the NFL love Hafley. Hafley, again, was a huge candidate he interviewed I think at every position, and 4 of the places supposedly were going to make him a finalist. Like, he could have been hired at multiple jobs. And down here, people are like, I'm throwing my season tickets in the garbage. They did it again. It's like, they didn't do it again. This was an exhaustive search. They interviewed 10 people.
I tell you what.
But it's a premature evaluation. I mean, the guy's resume makes you think, wow, what a dedicated guy that really rose from the lowest of levels there. He was an assistant at Albany, for God's sake. Did a reasonable job in a tough spot there. Boston College hasn't been much for a while. Lucky to sniff 500. It seems every year he goes close to 500. Was respected with the Packers, but we don't know what he's going to be. Do we know enough about this guy to say one way or the other that this is a good or a bad move? He doesn't have the name value. I mean, when you see Tomlin and Sean McDermott are available, and Stefanski was available.
That's people's problem is what's out there to go with. Again, Minter's done a really good job with the Chargers.
Would have been
That's what I was looking for.
They
Just
won't want a
PR move.
Yeah.
PR move. But it's, I don't know.
Do you know this guy at all, Chris Shula? I mean, was he sitting on your lap when you were doing the Don Shula show? No. Is he the son of David Shula?
Yes, he is.
Oh, is he? Okay. So I've always wondered who's his. They don't talk about the dad, even though both dads are famous. They never talk about the dad. They always talk about him.
I'm thinking, and I mean, just having known both Don and David was always a pleasure to encounter. He was a great guy. His head coaching career wasn't exactly the kind of stuff that's going to have him debatable as a Hall of Famer, but a very level-headed guy and capable. I mean, he became very successful running the Shula. So maybe this guy's got the mental chemistry from the Shula DNA, and seems to have acquitted himself very well. I mean, look, his team's sitting there in the championship game. So, as a defensive coordinator of a Rams defense that I don't recall being any great shake. I don't know. Have they been in the past? I mean, I know they had they had Jalen Ramsey there for a while.
When they had Donald and Ramsey, they were elite. But again, remember, Ramsey's gone and Donald retired. They had to go through a rebuilding, and Shula's done a great job the last 2-3 years.
Yes, he has.
So people,
Shula,
we had our favorites, and they went with the guy that no one wanted.
But it's impossible to. I mean, unless you really knew.
It's not a bad hire. Like I'm not excited about the hire because it's not who I wanted, but I don't think it's a bad. Like I'm not doing it when Philbin got the job, and you're like, who is this?
Smoking Joe Philbin was a bit of a stretch.
Sperano was one for me because Philbin I had heard of. Philbin was like Cam Cameron, where for a couple of
Sperano was Parcells' guy, though.
He was the offensive coordinator with Aaron Rodgers, so he was going to get a head coaching job. The Dolphins get slammed for the hire, but someone was going to give him a chance.
Should.
Sperano was weird because, yes, he was a Parcells, but he was an offensive line coach that no one had ever talked about. I'd never heard his name before, and then they make him the head coach, and then he lives up to that by having one of the most boring offenses ever and going on purpose for field goals. Like he was like, all right, if we can get a field goal on this drive, we're only down 20, but we got that field goal. Like that was the hire that was like.
More amazing than that, though, was that the New York Jets, subsequent to his tenure here as a head coach, he had one of the most boring offenses in the history of the National Football League. You were waiting for them to put the leather helmets on. And they made him offensive coordinator. That was incredible. I mean, you talk about a stretch of the imagination. Now, this wasn't even Peter Principle. I mean, that was just outrageous that you would see a guy that had no offensive acumen whatsoever become the offensive coordinator. But it shows you at least the Dolphins, no matter what this Hafley guy does, Tony, are ahead of the Jets. No?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes. And the Chargers, what the Chargers just announced, they hired
they hired McDaniel as OC.
Oh, okay. All right. I could see that.
Yeah.
Now he gets to be with Herbert.
And Jim Harbaugh's no stooge, I would think, when it comes to evaluating assistants and what help they could be to him. And he certainly understands offense, having been a quarterback and having made much out of guys that you would have thought. I mean, the job he did with J.J. McCarthy, I thought was pretty incredible there in Michigan.
Really good. Really good.
So he probably, I would think he would have really good judgment about who to bring in. So interesting to see that. And we wish McDaniel success. Not too much success because of the fact that, I don't know, if the Chargers... Look, the Dolphins, they just don't strike me as they're going to be real contenders anytime soon because they don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. So that would be the biggest problem. All right, we have to take a quick break here, Tony. We'll come back with more. We'll get your thoughts on a bunch of different things, and we'll do a little old school. Ed Garcia is going to join us as well from Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. We'll be back with all of that in a moment. Now that it's 8:42.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe Bee.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse.
All right, a special shout out here as we begin this segment of Old School with Tony Segreto. Ed Garcia going to join us from Texas Roadhouse Restaurants as well. But our man Eric Brandon, I see the boats whizzing by in that Big Chill advertisement, and I couldn't help but think of Eric Brandon, the Weekly Fisherman, which was a program that followed, and the guy's been doing it. He's going to break our record, Tony. Do I congratulate him on breaking our record? I think we had the longest running weekend sports show or show of any type. We were eventually we eclipsed Mama Leone's matzo ball show.
My God.
She had like a show. She was buying time on one of the barter stations and was on for like 20 years. I don't know. Somehow we racked up like, I don't know, maybe 20 some odd years of doing the trivia challenge on Saturdays. And Eric, with his Weekly Fisherman, followed this program. Or no, he preceded us. Actually, he was on even earlier because let's face it, no point going out on the water at 10 o'clock, right? You may as well, just cash it in for the day and go to the track. So, he preceded us, and I loved his show. I loved, and he's still doing it. So he's going to eventually have more years of consecutive weekend airtime than we did with the Trivia Challenge. And couldn't be happening to a more deserving guy. Great voice. You know, Eric Brandon?
Very well.
FM channel, yeah. Having some back issues right now. That's something I don't wish on anybody.
Oh, no. That's the worst.
I've been lucky, Tony, so far. But, man, it's hard to overcome. Let's face it.
You have a back issue?
I don't really have any back issues. No. I mean, this guy's going through fusions and this and that. And it looks like you're watching, some video of an emergency room every time he puts up a post on social media. It's incredible.
Good. Yes.
All right, Tony. So you're not happy then with this Dolphin hire? What's your rationale behind it? You wanted a sexier guy, a more experienced guy. Chris Shula, I know, obviously, was something that I thought it's interesting from so many different angles. If this guy somehow managed to resurrect the Dolphins' legacy and bring them back to serious contention for a few years, what a story, huh?
What a story! But
what did you think?
I'm not dissatisfied with it. Okay. I'm just so he hired him.
It's like if we hired Brian Dayball or something. No, at least he was a coach.
It'd be as if we hired you.
You know what? It's funny because as involved in sports as I always was, playing sports, and I still, like to get out there and hit the ball there on the tennis courts. You have to pick your opponents wisely. It's especially good if you have a guy who's completely immobile and can't see at night, which
that's me.
Is winning everything. I don't know. Is Lombardi right? What do you think? I mean, is it all about the camaraderie, Tony? What do you make of that? All right. So anyway, you're not happy. You're not thrilled, but you're not going to immediately dismiss the possibility that maybe
I'm not knocking at anyone's door and telling them, do you see who the Dolphins hired?
Not a lot of talk. I mean, it didn't create any big buzz. That's for sure.
No one's happy. People
at least the Joe Philbin hire, everybody was asking, what the hell? Who is this guy? Did he have a personality? Which it turned out he did. Lubie and I found that out. He had a little bit of personality. Yeah. As did his staff. It's a shame they didn't win more.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys, Tony, that I could see you thinking was a truly decent gentleman. That
He
kind of
was. He
yeah.
was.
That doesn't win necessarily, does it? I don't know. Do you have to be an asshole to win? Nick
No.
Saban's become much more of a gentleman. I actually can like listen to Nick Saban.
I enjoy Nick Saban on television. He's really good. He's insightful.
Yeah.
He's to the point. He's just really. Is there anything he can't do?
He's gotten better. He has as an analyst. I used to think he was just too ensconced in cliches, but no, he brings out some things which is interesting. And I don't know. I mean, he's doing it. It would be interesting if he just what was more straightforward in his opinions about different people that are being discussed. Like he would just come out and say, "Hey, this guy's an asshole."
He said weeks before Miami got it. He said, if you're gonna pick a team, you got to watch out for, it's Miami.
Yeah, a lot of people sort of thought that, although they did go off at 20-1. And if you had them at 20-1, as a professor did, or 50-1, as some people had, before the season started, can you imagine? I mean, how much is your heart in your throat as you watch this guy who looks to be beaten on a pass play just reach up and catch the ball? And that was probably the only clean play on a passing play all night long, where everything else looked like it literally was coming out of some film on college wrestling. It was. I mean, did you think that they weren't calling anything in this ball game? It was incredible.
They were letting them play.
I mean, is that to the point of what though, where it becomes ridiculous? I don't know, Tony. Shouldn't you try attempt to enforce the rules at some point?
He's handing off the ball, and the guy's waiting there. He says, "Is it okay to tackle him now?"
What do you think about the strategy in that ball game? Just one last thing. I don't know. Can you fault Mario Cristobal when you have the ball with a chance to win a ball game, and it looked like they had tired out Nebraska. I mean, Indiana's defense to the point where they were moving the ball pretty easily down the field, weren't they? On that last drive, didn't you think they had a real possibility to score?
Yeah, they did, but the truth be told, Miami made it. They made a game of it. And for that time of the night or that time of the year or whatever, Indiana was the better team.
Yeah. Block punt for a touchdown, doink
Yes.
field goal. And therein lies the difference.
The better team. Now, Mendoza.
Yeah, very likable kid. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a great story? A great story if the Dolphins got up to number 1 and drafted him.
Well, what are they going to do to get there?
This is not happening. I mean, the rate. It's funny, in such a crappy quarterback class, he's become, especially the way he played in that game, like he's a lock for the number 1 pick, and the Raiders need him desperately. So, I mean, and the Jets need a quarterback desperately too. So, like, he's not that good to do a haul kind of a trade. Like, you'd have to give up a haul for him, and
he's a Brady type quarterback.
Interesting. He's growing on me a lot. I thought he was a second, third round caliber kid. Going into the game, I thought maybe was a late first round guy that would get first. Watching him in that game, he seems like in a crappy quarterback class worthy of the number 1 pick. Like, I think he's worth that pick. I just don't know. He's Brady. It's funny. People are like, oh, he's not Brady. Think about Brady in the draft. Like, that's not Brady, the 7-time champ. No, Brady in the draft. What Brady was good at, and then what Brady became and what he was good at. Mendoza is very similar. He's good at processing. He's good at getting the ball out. He's not scared of anything. He's tough as nails. He'll stay in there and take hits. Unlike Brady, he's a little bit athletic. Like, he has a decent arm, not a strong arm, but a decent arm. He's a good quarterback, and I think he'll be fine. I think he's a starter. He's not like automatic Andrew Luck. Like, I don't know what he's worth from a pick standpoint. That would problem. Like, the Dolphins are like at 11. Like, I don't think you're getting to 1 from 11 with how bad.
I don't know if it's by design either. All of those back shoulder catches. I mean, you're looking at these and saying that's just like an awful throw. and comes back and makes a catch as he's being crumpled to the ground with no flag being thrown. And the ball goes for a completion. I don't know. Are those brilliant throws in your opinion, Tony? Because this guy, his accuracy was extremely impressive up until this last ball game when I thought he was throwing a lot of errant passes that just happened to go for lucky catches.
I think the moment got to him and to everybody, because you're in the national championship, everybody's watching, the stadium is packed. It's just too much for anybody.
No, he came through. I mean, that run was as gutsy a run as I've seen by any quarterback, going all the way back to Joe Cap. I mean, it was
Joe Cap like. It was Joe Cap like.
No, he was faster than Joe Cap. Joe Cap.
Well,
they could time this guy in a 40 if they did. I think he was running like a 6.2, something like that. All right, so we had a good time with all of that. That put the Canes back on the map. That's a certainty.
Oh, I was there on the sideline. Did you see me there?
Did you go, Tony? What happened? I thought I saw you in the Trump suite.
Patting
O'Donnell on the back and thanking him for the chance to eat some lobster bisque there as you were watching a game from the 50-yard line. How was that?
It was great. It was great. and Trump says hello.
I'm sure he's a big fan of the show. He's more likely to go. Well, he's always
can't wait to tune in. He can't wait to tune in.
He's always on with our buddy Sid Rosenberg in New York. Sid, somehow, as a young Jewish man from Brooklyn, he flipped the switch there and became a flaming Trumpster, which
may God.
Enough people, are on that bandwagon for him to be sitting there right now on his way to this big conference. So anyway, that's why we love sports as a diversion to the sometimes harsh realities that exist in the human condition.
That is why we love sports.
Yes, and it is a unifying thing. I mean, I'm watching this thing at a Boat Campers. I don't know how many he has now. He had like 3 or 4 of them at one point. I'm going to say 3. Lubie, is that one in Miramar?
Where I grew up isn't there anymore. And that was a really cool location. One in Plantation, I know closed.
Oh, that's not there. Oh, okay.
I don't think so. People were like lamenting a while ago on like Let's Eat. Oh, sad that this isn't here anymore. And so I don't know how many actually.
Well, whoever designed these, Tony, have you been into Boat Campers? I mean, for the sports fan, I did a tremendous job.
It's great.
Screens. I mean, if you're taking a leak, there's a screen above the toilet. You don't miss a single play. No, it really is.
Let's go to Boat Campers and take a leak.
Yeah, I mean, how thoughtful is that for the diehard sports fan that has money on these games? And then you can't miss the screens.
And they have the all the pages of the Herald of the
I think your name was mentioned in one of the articles I was reading while I was in the bathroom. Yeah,
that's
Tony Segreto. I work with that guy. It was surprising to me a couple of things. I mean, it was great to see an atmosphere where everybody was sort of united around something, even though you have people rooting for both sides. It surprised me the number of people that were Indiana fans. We were talking about this yesterday. That were Indiana fans that were in this bar cheering on every move that.
Lost Defo, and Defo's not back. Hold on.
We just lost him.
He's here.
I'm back.
He's here.
I'm back on track. But anyway, yeah, I was amazed. I mean, and we started thinking it's possible that like people from Indiana just came down here. I mean, how dedicated of a fan are you if you're not even going to the game?
I said to my wife, it would be about 60-40 Indiana.
Yeah, and that probably was true, right?
She said, "You're crazy. You're absolutely out of your mind."
Like 65-35.
What does that say about us, Tony? You've been doing sports here forever.
What do you want? I mean,
should that not have been a shutout?
I think it's more insane.
Where do these farmers get all this money? Was that part of the you mentioned?
Exactly.
Who's growing corn? And, worried about whether the crop is going to be damaged by some bizarre, eccentric weather that we now have all the time.
I remember, what was it, 1985 or 84 in the slop in the Orange Bowl, the A.J. Dewey running it in for a touchdown.
Oh, that was great, yeah.
And they were debating whether to have that game or not because of the unsettled situation in Miami.
Yeah.
They had some, some disturbances. And my father, God rest his soul, was at the game. He was sitting next to a black gentleman. And he said to him, there are times when you just got to put your differences aside.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me because no matter how different we are, no matter how, you may, what are you laughing at?
I'm just thinking, while you've got this great social message that you're delivering, I wanted to know, did Shula deliberately have the field watered down?
100%.
Yeah. Why was there no tarp on the field, Tony? You know the answer to this.
It was Shula. We know it. I mean, come on.
You knew Shula. I don't think he ever admitted that he did this. I mean, this was like Pete Rose denying that he gambled on baseball. We were talking about that earlier, as far as a Hall of Fame shutout. Yeah, did he water the field? I get the message. I didn't mean to.
That's okay.
To kind of like sort of piss on that a little bit, but no, it was great.
I seen it a lot.
It was very unified there. I mean, people. I did see some police intervention. Looked like maybe, I don't know, there might have been something going on there. It certainly was quickly snuffed out. I couldn't believe the crowd too. It was like you were walking into the Ali Frazier fight in that scene in American Gangster. I mean, this was to get into a bar. So that was good. It definitely does. Sports as a unifying factor is.
It really is
certainly, a good thing. But I was at that game, the AJ Dewey game. That was one of the early events that I covered here, and it was sensational, man. 3 picks. What, did he bring 2 of them back for scores? I know he had a pick 6. Richard Todd was a quarterback. Was he not for the Jets at the time?
Yes.
Former Alabama quarterback, Richard Todd. And the field was in no great shape, Tony. Shula never admitted it, one way or the other.
He didn't admit it, but he... What can I say? And, let me say something else.
Yeah.
We lost a great man, Footy, the other.
Footy, yeah. I didn't get a chance to go to the.
And I went to the memorial on what was it, last Friday?
Last Friday, yeah.
And it was packed with people you didn't see for years. And AJ Dewey was there. Danny was there. Just a great tribute to a great man.
He's a good guy, yeah. I remember the early days. I was doing something similar on the rival station. I was on I-95. Footy was Y100, of course. And one of the good things about the media in this town, with rare exception, I mean, you're always going to have your share of, how should we put this politely, dickheads that do anything, especially in sort of, would you say to a degree, it's sort of an ego-driven business in some regards? I mean, you have a lot of people that want to beat their chest and say they're the best at it. And yet, even though I was sort of in a little direct competition there, and it was pretty intense, there was big ratings wars, and they were often referenced, especially on the FM dial. Between those two stations, guy couldn't have been any cooler.
Yeah.
And that was generally true about the Miami media, Tony. You being, of course, representative of the idea that you can be a good guy and still make it to the top of a tough business, which is why we're happy to have on the show Ed Garcia from Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Glad you could join us, Ed. And we sort of dissected this thing. I'm just curious to get your thoughts, a big college football follower that you are, on what was going on in that championship game and where that leaves everybody. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I hope you guys are doing awesome this morning. I am in a very cold Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
Got in late last night, no luggage, which then in turn turned me into sampling bourbon to figure out what my next
Did you go to an outdoor shop to just grab something on the way from the airport?
That is correct. Yes, I just said, give me the brown liquor and it's been fantastic since. So
beautiful.
It's allegedly going to be here in the next 3 hours. So my luggage is crossing the globe from Detroit to Atlanta to Louisville. But yeah, it's like circling, which is kind of nice.
Spirit Airlines involved by any chance? You don't want to point a finger at any businesses.
It is my favorite one, but and maybe Tony has a family member that works for them, but I am still loyal and true to them.
Okay,
so,
all right.
Ed, real quick, I'm trying to recall if you were on last week. I went to a Texas Roadhouse in Albany, and it was spectacular.
That's awesome.
Spectacular. I ordered a steak about this big. It was great. It was absolutely fabulous. I got a steak because my wife, my daughter, and my son said, "Get a steak, Dad."
There you go.
You know how we just kind of like
just a salmon.
Plate,
yeah.
Screaming about a steak. It's good that you have all these things, but the steak is what you're known for there.
That's right. And well, heck, the FDA said, "Hey, the steak is great to eat again." I don't know if you saw that, but they took it off like the protein list like 8-10 years ago, and they brought it back saying, "Hey, it's a great piece," which is gonna bring a challenging year where cattle is still a little tiny, but just like that steak was fantastic, that game on Monday was fantastic. And a lot of people ask me, who I'm going to cheer for, and I have a loyalty because I live in South Florida, and I know everyone knows that I'm a Detroit Lions and a Wolverines fan, but it's cool to see your backyard getting in there, and something that they accomplished to be playing essentially at their home field for the championship is really, really cool. And I'll say they kind of started off a little bit, soft. They didn't get a good feel for the speed of the game till obviously the second half. I mean, just in the third quarter alone, they tripled the amount of offensive yards that they had in the first half, and got a little loosey-goosey, and obviously the Indiana capitalized on that. But, as far as the quality of a game, I know a lot of people may disagree, but I felt like that's what college football is all about. There was a lot of passion. There was a lot of blood and sweat and tears left on that field. It was a phenomenal game. I know for the people of Miami, it was not the result that they wanted. For those people that are part of the Big Ten and cheer on for the Big Ten, that may be results that they wanted, because that would be 3 in a row, correct? Big Ten championship winners. Who's counting? But other than that,
for the Big Ten, man. You're unbelievable.
It's also case in point that we now have a huge microwave, and you can put in a team in there, hit the button, and you know what? 12 games later, you got a national championship team. I mean, the odds were 10,000 to 1. If you put $100 on that team, you would be said really good, at the end of the year. So kudos to them. And it goes back to my point. We still need to work on this NIL, college transfer, the portal, all that good stuff. But what a great Monday.
And Ed, it goes to show you that anybody can become the champion.
Yes, if you are financially backed by billions, absolutely.
All right. Unfortunately, we got to fly. But Ed, anything special happening at Texas Roadhouse upcoming weeks? And if you're in Louisville, that means you're having some kind of power summit, no?
Yes,
that is correct. We just actually, I was here last week. We kicked off our year, which is super exciting. And the message is, how do we retain value? And we have a crystal ball. It's super foggy. We try to predict what's going to happen. The economy looks fantastic. Unfortunately, cattle doesn't look fantastic. How do we combat those prices and things like that and maintain our menu prices so low? So really that's the tip of the week. So But we reviewed. We're working on our margaritas, making sure we have the best margaritas in town with our made from scratch sweet and sour mix and that awesome salt rim, which are absolutely delicious. And if you don't know, we have a $5 margarita at all our locations nationwide, which is pretty cool. Can't go wrong with that. And then we have our early dining special for those people that can get in a little bit early. Most of the restaurants before 6 o'clock, $9.99 to $12.99, again, depending. Obviously, if you're in Miami, it's a little bit pricier, but you get a steak dinner, a 1 pound sweet potato, and a salad for under $13. You can't go wrong.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
So that's what's going on, and we're still delivering the best. We're still getting it in fresh. We make it from scratch, and hey, we're ready to rock and roll, and now we're gearing up for the Super Bowl.
Have a good time there, and let's hope the luggage arrives. It's always good to have clothes while you're out of town.
If not, I won't be wearing this.
Yes.
Ed, thanks for joining us. Ed Garcia, Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Tony, always a pleasure, my friend.
See you Friday, guys.
Okay, excellent. We'll see Tony on Friday. And for Mike Lubie, it's Tony Segreto, Ed Garcia. I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
The time.
There you go, Johnny. The guy's been dead for years, Lubie. You can't expect him to always be on time. It is 9:09.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.